According to European Commission of Defense, Russia is considering attacking NATO. I don't know of you guys, but me, I am honestly fed up and tired of hearing this. They started this narrative way back from 2022, and yet Russia has not invaded any country. And they are still running around with this same narrative that Russia is trying to attack NATO. I believe this is an attempt by the Western European leaders to divert their citizens' attention from the economic mess that they are currently in. Now, when you listen to the European Commission of Defense, he is quoting Germany intelligence service. So, it is Frederick Merz who is going around with this narrative. And currently, when you look in Germany, Germany is currently in economic mess. I've reported it countless number of times on this platform. Especially their auto industry is collapsing. They cannot compete with China again. They cannot compete with Japan again. So I believe this was an attempt by Frederick Merz and other European leaders to cause fear and panic in the system. That's all. When you look at the evidence available, there is no proof that Russia is trying to attack NATO. There's no proof. Now, we have to go back into history. Russia have a history of maintaining one front in war. It doesn't matter the number of countries that are fighting against them. When Napoleon invaded Russia, almost the whole of Western Europe backed Napoleon. Russia didn't go around attacking other European countries. They decided to fight all of them combined in Russia. Even in the Second World War, most countries supported Germany. Finland supported Germany. But the Russians didn't invade Finland. Note, the Winter War happened before Second World War. Poland is very close to Russia. The Russians could have invaded Finland if they wanted to in Second World War. But they decided for them to come to the front lines before they destroy them or they annihilate them. Even in Second World War, Stepan Bandera did the same thing. Stepan Bandera, we all know that Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union, but Stepan Bandera was a Ukrainian who was supporting the Nazis to fight against Russia. The Russians didn't go after Stepan Bandera, no. Although most of the wars were fought in Ukraine in Second World War. This is one part of history that they don't talk much about. But in Second World War, the Eastern Front between Russia and Germany, most of the battles took place inside Ukraine. And there was a Ukrainian guy who led ethnic Ukrainians called Stepan Bandera. His name is Stepan Bandera. He led ethnic Ukrainians to fight against the Russians. Even Stepan Bandera, who was closer to the Russians didn't go opening another front far from the front lines to fight against Stepan Bandera. They didn't do that. The only chance the West had to defeat Russia was back in the beginning of the war. Now the Russians have been able to mobilize large number of troops. They've been able to shift their economy to wartime economy. In this special military operation, I mean, this is not secret. There are many foreign mercenaries who are fighting for the Ukrainians. Why didn't the Russians go attacking most of these European countries who send soldiers to the front lines? Especially Poland. Poland is very close to them. Poland was sending in all these weapons that were coming into Russia, coming to the Ukrainian front lines. They came through Poland. But Russia didn't go attacking Poland. So the Russians have a history of maintaining one war front. Regardless whoever is involved, they wait for you on the front lines and deal with you. That is their history. If the Russians had any intention of invading another European country, then that would have been Poland and Sweden. Because after the war broke out, these two countries decided to join NATO. And we all know where Poland is located, very close to Russia. But the Russians didn't invade them. Why today? When you read the Act of War, General Sanshu, I hope I'm getting his name right, said, you can fight against your enemy without being present on the battlefield. And that is exactly what Vladimir Putin is doing. He's fighting against his enemy, not on the front lines, but through a different strategy. Take France, for example. The Russians realized that the economic heart of France is Africa. Putin decided to come to Africa, arm most of these Sahel countries to fight for their independence. And today we can see how that is affecting France today. Companies are collapsing in France. Protests left, right, center. So Putin is a smart guy. Support the channel by hitting on the like button, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe. In recent days, if you guys observe carefully, you will see that across Western Europe, they are blaming Russia for everything. Even if birds are flying in the sky, they'll come in the media and tell us that this bird is a spy bird. It belongs to Russia. That is where we've gotten to. About 3 days ago, they shut down Munich airport in Germany. They claimed that they saw some drone, and quickly they started blaming Russia. They said Russia sent this drone to Munich airport. For about 7 hours, planes were not allowed to take off or land. And the same incident happened in Lithuania about 2 days ago. They shut down their airport, and quickly across the media they started blaming, Russia. They said Russia has sent in drones to attack them. In Lithuania, today, after the investigation came out, after the results came out, we realized that it was just a balloon carrying cigarette. Can you believe that? The Lithuania decided to shut down their international airport just because of a balloon that is carrying cigarette. I don't know if you guys understand. Cigarette, I mean cigarette. A cigarette is attached to a balloon. And because the cigarette flew over Lithuania airport, boom! This is a Russian spy. The Russians are spying on them. Russia is trying to attack them. But we later figured out that this was a strategy that they used to smuggle in goods. Well, you know how we do it. A lot is happening around the globe, and I'm going to give you guys most of the updates or the important updates in this video. Once again, I apologize to all of you. For the past 3 days now, the whole of us now for South, we don't have electricity. They are still working on our lives. So all my cameras and phones went off. That is why 2 days ago, I was not able to release a video. Even yesterday, I released a video, but the video was incomplete. When I was recording, boom, the lights went off. By the way, so yesterday I was talking about Russian relentless attack on Ukraine in recent days. This is not new. I've reported on this platform countless number of times that, you guys should prepare for more attacks on Ukraine. Since the special military operation began, when you observe closely, when winter is approaching, the Russians always target Ukraine electrical infrastructures. They continue to do this day in, day out, especially back in 2023, 2024. Now, in 2025, this strategy is back again. But this time around, the attacks is unprecedented. That's never happened before. So 2 days ago, the Russians decided to target every region in Ukraine. Every region was hit with missiles except one. Only one region in Ukraine was not hit. Now, according to many experts, the Russians are wrapping up this war. They realize that this war, the only way they will get what they want is to actually defeat the Ukrainians on the battlefield and force them to the negotiation table, just exactly how or what they did to Finland back in 1940. And they used the same strategy against Chechnya back in the 2000s. They used the same strategy against Georgia back in 2008. They will defeat you, force you to the negotiation table, then you sign the documents. That has always been the history of Russia. And I believe this is the direction that we are heading towards. Oh, another important announcement or update. India is going to buy a lot of S-400 air defense systems from Russia. I remember when I spoke about India and Russia relationship, some of you told me not to trust India. India is working with the Americans. But I told you guys something, that it is in the best interest of India to continue working with Russia, because during the difficult times of India, when nobody was willing to help India militarily, it was the Russians who came to the rescue of India. And that is why for a very long time Russia has remained the number one military partner of the Indians. The Indians continue to buy more and more weapons from the Russians. So Yes, you know, I believe that the Indians are trying to take a neutral stance here. They don't want to be controlled by anybody. They want to work with both the West, East. They don't want to take pro-Russia or pro-America. You get a point? Guys, unfortunately, it has started raining, but we will continue with the update. So, another interesting piece from Politico, according to Politico, Vladimir Zelensky is not ready to step down. I keep telling you guys that there is no leader on earth here who is a dictator. The point is, if you do what they like or want, you are called a hero. If you refuse to go in the direction that they want, you are called a dictator. Take Paul Biya in Cameroon, for example. Paul Biya has been in office for over 40 years. And I've not seen anybody calling Paul Biya a dictator. Look at Harry, this young guy who took over recently in Burkina Faso. He has been in power less than even 5 years now. And already they are calling him a dictator. You get a point? So this Zelensky guy today, even church leaders, Orthodox Christianity today, which has been in Ukraine for thousands of years, Zelensky decided to ban it in Ukraine. And nobody is saying anything about it. Why aren't they talking about democracy? So they are all quiet. Nobody wants to talk about it because he's serving their interest. Whoa, we don't have lies. I'm recording the video outside and boom, it has started raining. By the way, sorry guys, I have to go. Thank you very much for being part of Timo 360. I really appreciate each and every one of you, your effort. Shalom. See you guys in the next episode.